Julia asked, how much should I charge for my preschool classes? If I had a nickel for every time I got asked this question, I think I'd be a millionaire. This is definitely a question that I get asked all the time. And the tricky thing about it is, though, I don't just have a one answer for you. I can't just say $100 a month, $200 a month, $600. I could say any number and it would probably be wrong, because your area will actually dictate how much you can charge for your preschool classes. However, I've got an amazing strategy that will help you find out exactly how to do that. I call it apples to apples. When I got started, the very first thing I did was I started researching my competition, the other preschools in my area. I wanted to see how much were they charging and how many hours were they actually teaching preschool, because that is the most determining factor in your apples to apples strategy. So when I was calling, they gave me their preschool class times and they also told me how many hours. It's those variables that you will need to also find out. So when you're researching the other preschools in your area, you want to be looking for places that are strictly preschools, guys. That's the best comparison I can give you first. Obviously, if you're researching daycares, it's a completely different market, right? And we're not going to even use those numbers. So let's go first to the preschool market. When you call the other preschools, I want you to ask these three questions. Number one, how much is the tuition? Number two, how many class days does that include? And number three, how many hours does that include? So if I had a Monday, Wednesday, Friday class, that is 3 days a week, right? If I met for 3 hours a week, if I met for 3 hours a day, then that's a 3-hour class. And if I charged $180, that is my monthly tuition. So do you see the three variables that we're trying to find out here? Now, if they have multiple classes, you definitely want to find out all the class times and rates that they have, because of course they're going to have different rates, but sometimes they may have a different hourly rate. Now, wait, you just told me a monthly rate, Joy. What are you talking about with hourly rate? Let me give you an example. For instance, if we had a preschool that charged $180 for a 3-day-a-week class for 3 hours every time, then that is that one class, right? But let's say that they had a 2-day-a-week class and they only charged $150 for that class. And they were having it for 2 days a week for 3 hours every single time. That one is $150. Guess what, guys? The hourly rates for both classes are different. Now, let me go through this with you. If you have, open up your calculator, please, or write this down on a piece of paper, because it's really important to kind of get the whole visual so that you can do this on your own. The way to find out the hourly rate, and therefore to get your apples to apples, because as you call all these different preschools, they may have 2.5-hour classes or 4-hour classes or 5 days a week. It doesn't matter. You have to boil it down to the hourly rate to find your general, like lowest and highest, and where everybody is in the middle, okay? That's what we're gonna try to do in this scenario. So for example, let's say that one of our preschools had $180, and I'm gonna call them, let's call them Penguins Preschool, and the other one that's $150, let's call that preschool Popcorn Preschool, okay? Penguins Preschool at $180, so write that down, $180. They're in class for 3 hours a day for 3 days a week, right? I want you to do this math. 3 times 3 equals 9. And then how many weeks are there? 4, so 9 times 4. 36 hours is how many hours the student would be at Penguins Preschool. Big circle around 36, got it? Okay, now to find out the hourly rate, $180 divided by 36. That gives you the hourly rate of $5 an hour. Write that big down. $5 an hour over at Penguins Preschool. Now, if we look over at Popcorn Preschool, and those people are charging $150, so write that one down, but they're only there for 2 days a week, okay? 2 days a week times 3-hour class, 2 times 3 equals 6. and it's 4 hours. So 6 times 4 equals 24. Look at us, we can do math. They're there for a total of 24 hours. Circle that number, right? Now, $150 divided by 24 gives you the hourly rate of $6.25. Everybody write that down, $6.25. Now we're talking apples to apples, guys. It doesn't matter how many hours someone has a preschool, how many days they're in operation of that month. Now you have apples to apples scenario. But wait a second, Joy, what if I only have daycare rates and they're open for 12 hours and they charge X amount per week and blah, blah, blah? Throw those rates out the window. I don't care about them. They don't work, okay? This only works for preschools, including church preschools. Some people say, oh, but there's no strictly a preschool program in my area. Actually, look harder. I bet you'll find some inside of churches. We're looking for 2 to 4 hour programs. Any more than that, the numbers start getting skewed. 2 to 4 hours is what we're looking for. Also, I want you to look for daycares. Wait, Joy, you just said not daycares. But I want you to look for daycares that have a preschool program inside of them. So if they're open for a daycare all hours, but they say, oh, we have preschool from 9 to 1, that's a 4-hour preschool program. Yes, I get that they're probably going to be on the lower scale, and that's fine. They're not your competition, but we still want to include them as a variable because people could choose them to go to preschool, right? And of course, they're not even the competition. We're going to be years and scales above them, right? But we still are going to do them because now if we have like 2 or 3 strictly preschool programs in our area, cool. I don't want any of the other variables. Throw them out. Don't worry about them. Just do the strictly a preschool. But if you're really struggling to find them, find the strictly a preschool, the church preschools, and the preschools inside of the daycare, okay? 2 to 4 hour programs and also 2, 3, 5 day a week programs, okay? That's also what we're looking for. Now do note that when they start going to 3, 4, or 5 days, their hourly rates might start dropping just because they didn't go through my training that says your hourly rate is the same regardless of how many days you do a week. So if I do a 2-day tuition at 120, guess what my 3-day tuition should be? 180, right? Because if you do 120 for 2 days, that means this is 60 and 60. And all I'm doing is adding that 3rd day, that's 180, okay? But some people will be like, oh, well, let's do 2 days for 120 and then we'll do 3 days for 150. We'll give them a discount. Don't do that, okay? I'm telling you, don't, right? So 180. What would be a 5-day tuition, guys, in my preschool if I did the exact same thing of keeping the hourly rate the same? I'd do a 2-day program, which is 120, plus a 3-day program, which is 180, and I'd stick them together, okay? What would that be if I had a 5-day class? I would do a 2-day tuition and a 3-day tuition, add them together, 120 and 180, you get $300. And so that is your 5-day tuition, right? It's all the same. But first you have to boil it down when you're researching your competition to get everything apples to apples. And so Penguins Preschool charges $5 an hour. Popcorn Preschool charges $6.25 an hour. Guess what you can charge, guys? You can charge anywhere between those, $5 to $6.25. Or my recommendation is you go slightly above the top and you charge $6.50 an hour. So here's how I would reverse engineer it to find out how much you would charge then. I would say $6.50, right? And then how many hours for the class? Well, let's say that I'm gonna throw a variable. Are you ready for a crazy one? Okay, let's do this. So let's say instead of 3 hours, I only wanted to do 2.5 hours because that worked perfect for my schedule, right? Then here's what I'm gonna do. I have to find out how many hours the child will be in my care, right? Well, I will be teaching them. So I've got a little computer here I'm gonna do the math in front of. So we have 2.5, which is 2.5 hours, and I'm gonna times that by, let's do 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but that's only 1 week, and that's 7.5. And then I'm gonna times that by 4, because we have to do 4 weeks. So that child is with me for 30 hours. For a 3-day week class for 2.5 hours every time. You guys following me? This is so good. Keep following with me. If they're with me 30 hours and I charge $5 an hour, how much should my preschool tuition be? $150. So that's your monthly rate is $150. You can do this with anything. Let's say I want to do 2.5 hours, but only 2 days a week, right? Again, find your numbers. So you say 2.5 hours times 2 days a week, that's 5. And then what are you gonna do? Times it by 4, so that's 20. And once you have 20, you're gonna say 20 times 5, because it's $5 an hour. That tuition should be $100. Do you get where I'm going with this? Awesome. So this is my apples to apples strategy, and this is literally the way that you find out how much you should charge in your preschool. I hope that served you. Post in the comments below when you find out how much the preschools in your area are charging, or how much you're charging in your preschool. You may notice that you're actually charging way less than what you should. So I highly recommend you go through our 30-day challenge. It will help you go through this whole process, and I'll be able to help you along with it, and it will make sure that you get exactly how much you're supposed to be paid, which is probably a lot more than what you're getting paid right now. If you've heard me mention in this video any of our products, like our 30-day challenge, or our complete preschool assessment toolkit, or even our advanced profit strategies, or even any of our systems like the success system or the teaching system or the hiring system or anything, right? Any of our systems, guess what? I have exciting news for you, because you can get all of those for free as a Preschool All-Stars member. That's right, you've heard me talking about this before. As a member, you get access to our systems, done-for-you files, and step-by-step video trainings, so that you can fast track your success to getting your preschool going. I've got every system you need, from the moment you think about starting your preschool all the way to hiring teachers, to streamlining your tasks, to becoming a better preschool teacher, to making more money in your preschool, to filling your preschool classes, to hiring your teachers and your directors, to even creating a private kindergarten, and finally one day selling your preschool. I have it all from A to Z, and I can't wait to share it all with you. You're gonna get exclusive free access to that inside of Preschool All-Stars. You'll also get access to me and hundreds of my preschool owners as we support you and cheerlead you on your journey. So if you'd like to be in this exclusive membership community, I invite you to join us. Click the link in the description or go to preschoolallstars.com. I can't wait to support you on this journey. Let's go. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. I can't wait to get more of these videos to you.